Oh, okay. Hello, welcome back to Pits of Crime. I am Sarah,
I'm Onna.
and today I'm going to kind of teach her, I guess you can say, about Alexander Pichushkin. If I said that wrong, I apologize. These are all Russian names, so
Александр Печушкин.
so forgive me. But he was basically a terrible serial killer, but his upbringing wasn't as bad as you would think. Just putting that out there right now, so you know.
So he didn't have like the typical abusive parents,
No, not that I could
abusive
find at all.
family.
Mm-mm.
Interesting.
So he is known as the chessboard killer, and sometimes you can find him referenced as the Bitsa maniac. So, um,
That's a
and
weird. That's
and he was also mentioned in, I believe, two or three. Well, not mentioned. His name wasn't mentioned, but they like referenced him for two or three Criminal Minds episodes. The one that I wrote down was season 7, True Genius.
we do love Criminal Minds.
So if you want to check that out, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
We also have Mika here with us today. She probably will be in every one of our videos, just being a lazy girl. Hi, Meek. Woo. I swear
Oh,
she loves us.
and I don't think we ever said what breed she was. She's a black mouth.
So Mika
Cur?
is a mountain cur.
Yeah.
Mika is a mountain cur mix, with pit bull more than likely. And then of course we have Bean here, which she's my A1 doggy. If you can't tell, her picture's up here. I love her dearly. So these two more than likely will be in our videos that we have. I have yet to introduce my boys though. They are very whiny and they are in and out all the time. So you may see them, you may not. I will try to make it a point to at least introduce you guys to them at some point. They are both husky mixes, so you can understand the whining part of it. Moose is a German short hair pointer, pit bull husky mix. I know it sounds like a really weird breed, but I promise he's probably the most beautiful dog I have. And Rocket is we know he's a husky mix. Now, whenever we had adopted him, we were told that his dad was a tree walking coonhound. But when you see him, I'll even, you know what, I'll have
Insert
Dylan,
pictures, yeah.
I'll have Dylan insert a picture of him. He does not look like a tree walking coonhound whatsoever. He looks like a shepherd husky mix. So that's what we tell people he is, and that's what he acts like. He has not a spot of hound in him whatsoever. So
No.
so we will try to introduce them at some point.
Okay. So getting into it, Alexander Pichushkin, I'll just reference him as like Alex or Alexander throughout this whole thing because his last name is really confusing to me. But he was born on April 9th, 1974. He was born in Russia, but the place that I found is Michishki, Moscow Oblast, Soviet Union, now known as Russia, just for reference.
It's a hell of a name.
I was like, I'm never going to remember that, so I had to write it down. So his family life wasn't terrible, as I said at the beginning. He grew up with his mom, Natalia, and his younger half sister and her husband and their son, his half sisters and her husband's son, in a 2-bed apartment. I want to say it was in like an apartment building on the 5th floor. And keep this in mind, he was only about a 6-minute walk from Bitsa Park.
Bits of Park.
Yeah. So the dynamic, as I said, was not. It's not what you would think. He was never. Well, I don't want to say was never, just in case it's not documented. But he doesn't have what you would think, where most serial killers are abused and all of that stuff. Like did not find any kind of physical abuse in my research. But he was always said to be a pleasant young man. He was always very nice. He was very talkative. He loved animals. So that was his big thing. He loved his dogs. He loved his cats.
Uh-oh.
And I have this in here. According to his childhood neighbor, Svetlana Mordikova, I apologize. But he
Uh-oh.
He, on the other hand, says he has a difficult life. He said it was very hard because he never knew his father. That is his reasoning. He never knew his father. His father walked out on the family when he was about a year old. So he basically grew up without a father figure.
Well, join like 50% of the population, bucko.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like during my research, I was like, I know a lot of people who don't know their fathers.
Yeah.
So like, but whatever. It's not my life. Not my
Well,
life.
then whatever. Everybody handles their trauma differently, I guess.
Yeah. So the trauma portion. Here comes where you're gonna be like, oh, okay. When I tell you there was no abuse, after you listen to this, you're gonna be like, okay. At the age of 4, he fell off a swing backwards at a park. And when he went to go get up, the swing came back and smacked him right smack dab in the forehead. So it was 1978 when this happened. So his mom doesn't take him to the doctor or anything. Like, she just noticed something was up because there was a bruise and like a big welt and everything. Kind of like if your child falls and they hit their head. Usually they're fine. You don't really have to worry about anything. That's kind of what she thought was happening. Was, oh, he just hit his head.
That's kind of like, I don't mean to laugh, but like, if you're going where I think you're going with this, if a little knock in the head with a swing is where it leads us to today.
Yes.
That's terrible. I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's not funny. It's not funny when any kid gets, well, okay, I don't have kids, so I do laugh a lot when kids get hurt, but not if they're like seriously injured.
Yeah.
Like, if I would have seen a kid get cranked in the head with a swing, I probably would have laughed.
Yeah, I wouldn't
And
have
not like thought
anything
that,
serious.
yeah,
about it.
I
No.
would have never thought that like something serious would happen.
No. So I, in no way, shape, or form, really blame his mom.
Yeah.
Honestly, for not taking him in immediately. But like, keep in mind, kids' heads aren't, or their skulls, I should say, aren't like adults.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're not really fused well.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the experts are saying that the swing likely damaged his frontal lobe when it came back and smacked him, not when he fell, just when it smacked him. And that can cause like poor impulse control, aggression, just like not, you wouldn't be a very happy person. Like, it can cause depression like symptoms and anxiety and stuff like that. So that's where we're going. But not long after this, everybody says it's like a light switch went off. His personality completely changed. Everything went haywire. He just was not the same kid anymore. So, and kids already don't have the best impulse control as it is.
Oh, and they can't handle their emotions well either.
No,
They don't
like,
know how
even
to.
at 4, like,
yeah, you don't know how to
it's
manage those things.
no. And after that happened, he reports being bullied in school, physically. So I guess you can count that as some kind of abuse, but that wasn't his home life that I know of. His mom ended up noticing that he wasn't really happy there. They were kind of like, he's not like that sociable anymore. He doesn't really want to talk to people. He's just kind of in his own little bubble, I would say, that's how I would describe it. So she pulls him out of the public school and puts him into a school with children with learning disabilities. So this is kind of where we start getting a little better. It'll make sense. Alex's grandpa, he was very, very close with him. He looked up to him for a lot of things. He was kind of his saving grace during all of this. His grandpa says that Alex was way, way too smart to be in a school with kids with learning disabilities. So he basically described him as being too smart, too talented, and too many special gifts. That was a quote from his grandpa. So his grandpa pulls him from the school, and he goes to live with his grandpa at that point. He kind of enjoys it better being with him, from what I could tell. And he basically tells Alex, go be a go-getter. You want to do better things, go big or go home, basically. He kind of tells him to pursue other things outside of school. Just don't focus on schoolwork right now. Like, you're too young. Don't worry about it that much. Go play sports. Go do whatever you want. Like,
he kind of seems like a really good like support system
Mhm.
for his like disability, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he realizes that school is not his best
strong suit at this
right
point. Yeah.
So he seems like a good support system for him, and he kind of seems like he understands that there's different things that he could do
Mm-hmm.
than just school, because sometimes it's not for everybody. I mean,
Mm-mm.
it
No,
so I mean,
I
he
get
seems
it.
like a really really supportive person in his life.
Mhm. So, right about now is where chessboard killer comes in. Is Grandpa teaches him how to play chess at their local park, which is Pizza Park. The park is said to be around 27,000 acres, but not located in the best area. So, like everywhere around there, I've seen it like being described as a slum,
Hmm.
kind of like not super run down, but not a place where I would feel safe walking alone at night.
It'll be like,
That's how I would put it.
would you like compare it to like, I mean, I've never been there, but like Central Park, like in New
Yeah,
York?
yeah.
Because I know that I mean, it's a big park. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how many acres it is, but I know it's a fairly large park.
Mm-hmm.
But there's some places that people won't walk alone at, especially at night.
Yeah,
And
I could see that. Yeah.
yeah, I wonder if that's kind of like something that we could reference it to.
Yeah, I would say that. That's how I saw it described.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna guess it's kind of like New York. And he would play against all of the older males there. So he's noted to have beaten a lot of them just starting out. So all these older males were there. They've been playing there for years. They would go down and play almost every single day. Alex comes in and he's beating them right off the bat. So he was smart in that way. He was very logical, I would say, kind of.
Well, I mean, it's also like, I mean, I guess it is like a mental game, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've never played chess. Dylan can play chess.
I can't.
I cannot play it. I have no desire to learn how either.
Nope.
Honestly,
Nope. I
I
can't
can't.
comprehend it.
No.
No, and he reports this was a great way to release his all like pent up aggression. He was very he didn't want to take it out on people at this point.
So he played
So
chess.
so he played chess.
Interesting.
Beating all the older males gave him like a sense of euphoria, basically, to not beat people up.
Okay. I
Um,
mean, I guess.
whatever works for you. And around 15, his grandfather dies. So this forces Alex to go back to his mom's and attend his old school where he was always bullied. So he wasn't a very big fan of that. So he resorts to vodka
Oh, perfect.
to numb the pain at 15.
That's what everybody loves to hear.
Yes, and he also believed that the alcohol or vodka made him better at chess. So now he's an alcoholic.
Oh.
He was drinking all the time at 15. And I don't know how this jump was made. Like I don't know where the lines connect here, but the next thing that I found in all of my research was he takes a camera down to the park with him and he records himself basically threatening children. Like I said, I don't know how far along this was,
Yeah,
but
that's
it
kind
was
of
a big jump.
that is a big jump. I mean, you go from saying that you play chess to get out all of your pent up aggression to like threatening to punch a child in the face. Like,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you record it
Mm-hmm.
to go home and like rewatch over and
Yep.
over again.
Mm-hmm. He
That
would save
doesn't
them.
make any. I mean, I guess if it keeps him from actually like hurting anybody, but still, I found somebody threatening my child. Again, I don't have kids. But if I ever found somebody threatening my dogs, let alone my child,
Yep.
I'm coming for you.
Mm-hmm. And then there's another huge jump. We're now in 1992. It's July 27th, and he's 18. And Alex is kind of like, yo, like these videos aren't enough for me anymore. Chess isn't really cutting it anymore. I guess I need to kill somebody now.
Perfect. Perfect.
I chuckled when I read that. I probably shouldn't have laughed, but like, why would you? Whatever. So he confides in a friend at work, Michael. That could be the Americanized name, though. Just letting you know. He confesses that he's getting these urges to kill people, and he kind of convinces Michael to come with him to find somebody to kill. Um, so they're down at Bits of Park, and they're walking around trying to find people. And Michael's not really taking this seriously. He's just kind of like, "Oh, my friend like wants to kill somebody, ha 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 ha." Like not
like didn't think he was actually going to do it.
Yeah, wasn't like, "Oh, he's actually gonna do it."
I always like anytime I come across cases like that, I'm always like, how would you not know if they're serious or not? But at the same time, like, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where I feel like if you're close enough to them, you should be able to see,
Yeah.
like, he's snapping.
Mhm.
But then at the same time, like, I couldn't tell you how many times I joke in a day that I'm going to kill my husband. I'm
Yeah.
really not going to.
Yeah,
But, like,
yeah, I don't know how I would react either.
quit making out with each other.
So, he sees that Michael is not taking this seriously at all, and he's like, what the F? Like, you need to be taking me serious right now. Like, I want to find somebody to kill. You're supposed to be coming with me to help me find them. You're just lollygagging in the background, smelling daisies, looking at flowers. So, he ends up murdering Michael.
Wow.
That's his first murder. He
Poor Michael. He was
pretty
just along
much-
for the ride.
Yeah, he just bludgeons his head in with a hammer that I could find, and pushed him into a well. But I also see it as a like sewage drain.
Mm.
So I see it being
Like a
named
manhole
both
type
ways.
thing?
Yeah, I see it being named both ways, so it could go either way. I don't know which one is true.
Hmm.
And he says this first kill was like his first love, magical. It's like he got butterflies in his stomach. That is a quote from Alex himself.
Okay.
So the police end up investigating Michael's death, thankfully, and they do question Alex. They do question him, but no charges were filed.
So,
So,
what? I'm assuming they question him because he's probably the last person that like was seen with Michael. But why? I mean, I guess he could have been like, yeah, we were in the park and he went home.
yeah,
But I don't know.
yeah, and he is described later as very charming.
Yeah, he's a likable guy.
So I could see that kind of swaying the cops' decisions and being like, no, like this isn't our guy. Him charming him into it. So
well,
maybe.
I mean,
I don't know.
a lot of the time that can happen.
Yes. And then that same year, he ended up murdering again. And it's his friend, which happens to be his ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend. So he pushes him out of a window after he went to go confront him as to why are you with my ex-girlfriend
Brother,
as a friend.
He's running out of friends.
He is, yes.
You can't just go around
Yes.
killing your friends.
Yes,
My
and he
gosh.
after he pushes him out the window, I guess he kind of skedaddles really quick. And he was questioned for his death, but it was eventually ruled a suicide. So there's that one.
Well,
He's
they
not
think he
learning
just
anything.
like skydived out the window, kamikazed himself.
I'm guessing. Like
I'd be
I
like,
could
there's
not
a
find
common-
anything else, but
There's a common denominator here, friend.
Yep. And then we're gonna jump forward a little bit. This is around 9 years, so like 2001. He's 27 and he's working at a grocery store. And this is where his coworkers describe him as being very charming, quiet, but still very charming. Like he could easily talk people into doing stuff that they don't want to do.
Pusher.
So what?
Pusher.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah. So he's at a park playing chess with a man named Yevgeny Pronin. He's 52. Again, Russian name. I apologize. And he's like, hey, my dog died, and it's buried over here. Do you want to go pay your respects? Let's take some vodka. Let's go sit and drink at my dog's grave.
Does he know this guy, or he just met this guy?
He just met this guy. Yes.
And he tells this guy that he buried his dog in a park.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I could not find if the dog was actually buried there, but we do know that the dog died.
Oh.
So, who knows?
Okay.
So they go over to what's set to be the dog's grave. And they share a toast, and as soon as this guy turns back around, Alex attacks him.
Hit him with the 1-2.
Yes, it's very graphic from what I was reading, but he attacks him and pushes him into a well or the sewage area once again.
Do you know if it was the same one that he threw Michael in? Oh, it was.
Worth believing that it's the same thing.
Oh,
yeah.
so we're just stacking bodies. Oh, okay.
I don't know. Like, this is where my irritation with this case comes in, because how did they not notice the smell?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But I'm not a cop. I'm not a cop.
I guess it would also depend too, like where this well is and how accessible it is
Mhm.
to people that are in the park. Like, is it
Yeah.
right off of the path of the park, or is it kind of like deep in the park? Because I mean, you said that the park is
27,000.
1,000 acres.
Yeah.
So I mean, it could be something that might not even be like, very
Yeah, it could be
accessible to
hidden,
people.
like secluded
Yeah.
even. I don't know. I couldn't find a map. I did try and find a map, but I couldn't find one.
Yeah. Well.
And then over the next 8 weeks, he murders around 10 more people.
In 8 weeks.
Yes. So I do have a couple names here. Once again, I apologize. May 23rd, Vyacheslav Kilmov, 64. June 22nd is named Yuri. They are unidentified. June 26th, Nikolai Tikhomarov. June 29th, Nikolai Filipov, 72. July 2nd, Oleg Ilvov, 49. July 13th, Gennady Sofanov, 61. July 14th, Sergei Pavlov, 44. July 20th, Viktor Elistratov, 45. July 21st, Viktor Volkov, 54. July 26th, Andrei Konovostev, 22. And then 5 more people over the winter.
So he doesn't even really have like a what's it called? Like a type. Like he doesn't
No,
have like a
not
set
really.
profile that he's looking at
No,
when
it's
he's killing
usually
people. Just
it was usually all older men. I want to say
uh-huh.
like 40 and older,
Okay.
but there were a couple young ones in there that I could find.
Hmm.
So,
I wonder if this has to do with daddy issues.
hey, that's a good yeah. Yeah, I
Hey,
didn't make that connection.
it could be
It could
because
be.
like he is killing like these older men and he's like
Yeah.
mad because his dad walked out on him and he's
Yeah.
like, I hate older men. And then his grandfather died, so he could even see that as like, not that like obviously his grandfather loved him, but he could also be seeing that as like another father figure left me.
Left, yeah.
And then
That's
that
true.
just kind of could be where he snaps.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I'm so confused as to why nobody caught on though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking it's possible they didn't catch on because he was targeting the older generation and homeless people.
Mm.
So I'm thinking like maybe they didn't think much of it when they disappeared.
Yeah.
Like,
They could have just moved and traveled
yeah,
somewhere else to
yeah,
live or something.
yeah. But once again, it was a big park, but nobody noticed the smell.
Mm-hmm.
Like the smell of death permeates the air.
Mm.
So whatever. I'm not a cop. Once again, he got up to 20 victims around this time. No alarm bells were raised at all. Some were reported missing, but the police didn't really seem to care. Like there was no sense of urgency to figure out where these people went, if they were dead, alive, whatever. They're a different breed over there.
Be careful.
Yeah. Yes.
Be careful.
And between May 2001 and September 2005, he killed at least 36 people, but 3 survived their injuries. I could not find much about these 3 people. They likely did go into hiding because this was the early 2000s where like social media and like news and stuff and cameras were out and around. So like I can see if anybody does find anything on them though, let me know.
Yeah,
like,
comment below.
And he basically signed these killings by jamming an empty vodka bottle or sticks into their skull. So he did have a signature.
So did these guys that survived? I'm assuming he couldn't obviously penetrate their skull.
Yeah, I don't.
But how did he still not get caught if he had 3 people that survived?
I'm not sure. Like his motive was to, or like mode of killing was to attack from behind.
So they
and,
might
like surprise them.
So they probably didn't even they were probably knocked out before.
Yeah.
What a sneaky little brat.
He was, and he like just jammed their head in with the back of a hammer, just completely bludgeoned their skull, and then he just shoved a vodka bottle in there.
It's the last headache you'll ever have.
Yeah, well, yeah. And his MO did start to change at some point, and he started going for women and children. But I don't know at what that point was. But it did change from like the older males to younger people and women.
Hmm.
So June 2006. Now is where we're getting into when he gets caught.
Perfect. My favorite part.
June 2006. Alex offers to go on a walk with his coworker Marina. And she did end up leaving a note behind to, I'm guessing, her son, is what I would say. That, like, hey, I'm going on a walk with Alex. Here's his phone number.
Smart.
That basically saved a lot of
Smart
people.
woman.
Yes. When she didn't show back up at her house, I'm guessing that evening, the cops were called. Cops were called for that. And video footage was pulled, and there's Alex and Marina walking down the street in a park. So he's caught at this point. But I can't help but laugh. I'm so sorry. Instead of immediately arresting him or going to find him somewhere, they decide to call him.
Oh, we love that. So,
They
hey,
call
I just
him.
want to call and let you know that we are looking into you for the disappearance of a woman. Can you come down
Where
and
is
see
she?
us?
Yeah, where is she? He basically said, "Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen her in months," and hung up the phone.
Man, they really are a different breed over there.
Yes, so they call him. That is so stupid in my opinion. But here's the kicker: 2 days, 2 whole days go by before police show up to his door in July. 2 whole days.
So she's already
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
probably stuffed in a well.
Yes.
Huh.
But they, like, I don't know why they didn't go after him first, because luckily he stayed. I'm not saying like, oh, Alex should have ran, but he had so much time to skedaddle.
Yeah, he really is kind of stupid.
Yeah, he had so
If
much time.
you got a phone call from the cops saying, hey, we're looking into the disappearance of this woman, you were the last person to see her, we need to talk to you, and you knew that you did it,
Yeah.
see ya.
Yeah, bye. I'm leaving.
Yeah,
like,
bye.
Yeah, I don't.
Golly.
But he ends up telling police not to take credit for finding or arresting him, because he basically believed that he gave himself up by staying there after they called. Fair, whatever.
Fair.
I guess. And he didn't just want to tell them what he did, he wanted to show them. Keep that in mind. He literally took them to where they were buried, showed them everything, and he told police he would get sexual satisfaction when he killed.
Did he ever go back to like visit the bodies?
I don't think so. I couldn't find
Okay.
anything like that.
Okay.
I don't think so. And now we get into like the conviction and everything. It started September 13th, 2007. It lasted around 46 days. Here's another kicker. He was kept in a glass cage during his hearings to basically have safety for himself and for others. So
Because he's like
in a glass box.
Because they considered him to be like that dangerous. Okay, so they consider him to be that dangerous, but they called him to say, "Hey, Bucko, just want to talk."
This is just such a weird case. Like, I found a lot of stuff, but I feel like there are still some holes.
Yeah.
That's what I could find. But
yeah, I mean, I've seen like where, people have to wear like those face shields or face masks and stuff, and they're like in a straitjacket in courtrooms, but I've never seen anybody that has to be in a glass container, I guess you could say, like is he like in a glass container like in prison?
We'll get there.
Oh boy.
But he was placed in this glass cage just like another well-known Russian serial killer, Andrei Chikatilo. And Alex's biggest motivator was to murder more people than Andre. So Alex wanted to be charged with 63 murders, but he was only being charged with 40 at this point in time.
Still a lot.
It's a lot. And then November 24th, 2007, Alex is convicted of 49 murders and 3 attempted, and was given life in prison. The first 15 years were to be spent in solitary confinement.
You know what though? I'm honestly surprised that the Russians didn't just,
Yeah,
because
I
I
thought that
like
too.
feel like they don't put up with that kind of stuff.
Nope.
And they're ruthless. And I just kind of feel like I'm really surprised that they didn't just get rid of him. Like I can't. I mean,
Yeah.
solitary confinement's also like you get on the brink of psychosis in there, but at the same time, I still can't believe that they kept him alive.
Yeah, his first 15 years were spent there, and as of 2017, he was still in solitary confinement at the Arctic Penal Colony called Polar Owl. And I did do a little bit of research on this, and that place houses many serial killers.
Hmm.
Many. Many, many, many. I didn't write any down, but like, holy cannoli. Like, it seems like it's all serial killers in there. I will say that.
Interesting.
So I don't know if he's getting like, I don't want to say it, but like possible special treatment being in there with different
When
serial
he gets out of
killers.
solitary confinement, he's gonna end up.
I think so.
Just,
I think
I
so.
think that's his kind. Or people. I mean, just like how he like admired that one serial killer, but people might admire him too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He's definitely gonna be holding somebody's pocket in prison.
Yes, and I did see that he does have fans over in Russia.
Of course he does.
And I can't remember, like, I didn't want to necessarily quote this person, but apparently in 2016, he tried to marry a fan. Couldn't find her name, couldn't find anything on her. I just found that bit of information, so I don't know if it's true or not.
Hmm.
But I did find that in 2016, he tried to marry a fan that came to kind of try and see him.
Well,
But
I mean, Gypsy Rose married a fan.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
I can't,
yep.
it happens, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I will never understand why it happens, but it does happen.
Like this whole story, like that did not take long at all. But there's like so many people that this man killed, and
Mm-hmm.
he basically tried to like fill up the squares on a chessboard with all of his killings. I believe when they went into like search his home, they found a chessboard and it was numbered with people's names. So he almost got there. He almost got there.
Hmm.
He was very close, but that was his whole thing. He's like, I need to fill up this chessboard. I need to fill it up.
Isn't it weird, like the kind of things that people will do, like to like remember their killings if they don't have like trophies and stuff like that? Like they will do things like this, and it's just weird. And most people wouldn't think, like, if they go into his house and they see this, they see that he has a chessboard that's halfway numbered, they're not
I'm
gonna
not gonna think
think
anything.
anything of it.
Mm-mm. No.
Huh.
Like this was such a weird case to research. Like I don't even know what to say about it. I feel like the cops kind of dropped the ball a couple times over there.
Yeah, well,
But
a little bit, a
but
little
then
bit.
again, I don't live in Russia, so but this is also like 1970s, 1980s. So like maybe everything has changed by now, hopefully. But I don't
Well,
know. I don't know.
yeah, because I mean, like, it was early 2000s when he, like, finally got caught.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I am still just really shocked that they didn't just off him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially with the women and children, right? Like,
Yes.
I am really surprised that they didn't
Mm-hmm.
just get rid of him just on that
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the fact that they physically saw, like, what he did. I still can't get over the phone call either, though. I mean, hello, I just want to talk.
Yeah. I I was cracking up reading that. I felt so bad laughing, but like,
It is
why would
really
you do
sad.
that?
Like, it's really sad for the victims because, like, he could have been stopped, like, had the cops looked a little bit more in depth into him, especially with him murdering his first two friends. Like I said, he
Mm-hmm.
was the common denominator.
Yep.
Right. And so, and honestly, you can't tell me that what was it, his ex girlfriend didn't suspect him of that. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
well, I mean, I guess if he was charming and stuff, like,
Yeah.
maybe not, but I still don't understand how the cops would think that some guy would have just yeeted himself out of a window and that's how he would have taken his own life. There's
Yeah. There's something there.
faster
Yeah.
ways
Mm-hmm.
to do that. You know what I mean? Because there wasn't, if they would have actually thought about it, there's not like a guarantee that he actually would have died jumping out of a 2-story window.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he
Like,
could have lived.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like they should have looked a little bit more into that.
Mm-hmm. And I still cannot believe that a hit on the head from a swing is what caused this whole switch.
Yeah, that's kind of it. I definitely think that's like what initiated it, but I really do think that his grandfather dying is what kind
I
of
think it kind
pushed
of
him.
triggered it a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I know that, with injuries like that and having impulse control and not like no control over your emotions, you can lash out. But the fact that he knew what he wanted to do and knew how many people he wanted to kill kind of makes
Mm-hmm.
me think that like maybe his brain wasn't as damaged as
That's what I'm
people would
thinking.
think, because normally when you have an injury like that and you have no control over your impulses, like obviously you just snap, right?
Yeah.
It's a one and done thing. You snap and then
You realize, oh shit, I shouldn't
you
have done that.
right. And then
Yeah.
I mean whether you try to hide it or not because you're
Mm-hmm.
scared of getting caught, but then everything that you do isn't planned out. Like you don't go planning to kill these people. You just you get mad and it just happens. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So that's why I don't think that his I mean it definitely I think it had a factor to do in it, because I don't think like cognitively he cared. Like he may have
Mm-hmm.
had no emotion as far as like sympathy or empathy for these people, but I don't think that he
No, I think killing his first two friends
mhm.
kind of put it in the back of his mind, hey, I really like doing this, and then he was just going off
Yeah.
on killing
Well, and
sprees.
that's another thing too,
Like,
is he killed his first friend because
mm-hmm.
his first friend was taking too damn long to help him find someone to kill.
Yeah.
Right? So he was already like, I know I'm killing someone tonight. So it wasn't an impulsive
Mm-mm.
decision. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah. It's just like, this was a really weird case, and I highly recommend watching Bailey Sarian's.
Oh, I love her. I love Bailey.
Yeah,
Bailey Sarian, if we ever get big, please let us meet you, because we both love you
I do.
so much.
I do.
We love you so much. And I know this is probably a sore subject, but we really loved Saint too. I'm so sorry that he passed.
Like, there was so much information that, like,
Mm-hmm.
I had to kind of dumb it down, or we would have been sitting here for hours.
Yeah.
Like, all these people that he killed, all these
Yeah.
apparent 60 plus people, like, that would have just taken forever. But I tried to put in some of their names for you in there, just in case you wanted to look them up. But he,
Yeah.
like, I just cannot believe, smack on the forehead, bada bing, bada boom, I'm gonna go kill people.
Good old give him the 1-2.
Like, I just cannot, I cannot, wow.
Yeah, that is
Wow.
insane. That is insane.
So, that was our story about Alexander Pichushkin, the chessboard killer. I do highly recommend that y'all look him up on your own and kind of see what information you can find, because I mean, I did this for about 2 weeks or so, and I did try and dumb it down a little bit so there wasn't so much information being spouted at everybody right off the bat. But he was a good one to look up. It was kind of, I don't want to say amusing, but like, I actually
Intriguing.
enjoyed reading about him and reading how like everything happened. So
Yeah.
you could enjoy it as well if you need some more from this possible 40-minute episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, next week, I will be telling you guys, or I will be talking about a case with Sarah next week. So we're gonna try to alternate weeks where we kind of are off one week of telling each other about a case. So next week I have 2 cases that I have researched, so I'm kind of trying to figure out which one I want to talk about. Yeah, so they're both very interesting. So we'll kind of figure out which one I want to discuss next week. And then we are really sorry about the late upload. This is only our second video. But with the weather, we live in Pennsylvania, so the weather is unpredictable. 1 minute it's the start of spring, and then the next minute we're in 4 feet of snow. So it was really hard to kind of get together to try to record a video last week. And then this week, today, it actually snowed a lot more than we had anticipated. So we were pretty lucky to be able to get together today and do it. But we are going to try to put a video out every week from here on out. So please be patient with us. Like I said, this is only our second video. We are still learning on how to navigate this whole project. So if you have any suggestions, please let us know in the comments below. Or if you know us personally, you can always reach out to us too. I know our first video, we had one mic. And I know it was really hard to hear both of us because I was puppy sitting. And we didn't want the puppy to eat the mics off of our sweaters. So we did have just one mic clipped here, but we learned from that. And we each have a mic today. So hopefully this video turns out and you can hear us both perfectly. You may hear some dog sniffs in there, but I can't help that. I'm sorry. That just happens. Yeah. So with that being said, we will see you guys next time. You can find me on Instagram at Adriana. It'll be linked below. We also have our Pits of Crime Instagram linked below as well. We are going to get some pictures posted on there about the crimes that we do. We can even use that to post pictures of like our dogs. You guys can see the boys on there that you guys haven't seen yet. You can see Sarah's dog Mabel as well. So
I'll have Dylan edit a picture of Mabel in here just in case.
Little Scooby,
my dog.
little Scrappy Doo over here. But yeah, so
I think that's pretty much all. Oh, and I do want to be transparent. Whenever we do these, if I'm telling Onna a story, those are her real reactions. She doesn't look people up.
I will tell Sarah if I have heard of a serial killer or not. So there were a couple that she was like thinking about, and I was like, oh yeah, I know them. Oh yeah, I know. I will tell her whether or not I know them or I've heard of them. And I'll also be honest and say, you know, if I've heard of them but not know exactly the story behind them. So you will see like our full reactions on here. If there is ever a time we do run out of cases that, you know, neither one of us do know, we'll just kind of figure it out from there. We'll cross that bridge when we get there and see how we navigate that too. So,
and also I do want to say, if you leave recommendations in the comments, we will put those first.
Yes,
definitely. Even if we know them, I feel like we should still do them. So if you want to recommend somebody, we'll do it.
We'll also give you a shout out too.
Yeah.
Not that, I mean, like I said, this is only our second video, but hopefully it takes off. So we'll give you a shout out. If we use your recommendation on a case, it doesn't necessarily have to be a serial killer either.
No.
It could just be a case that you want us to look into. I have one actually in the back of my mind that I'm actually going to do some research on that I know Sarah has never heard of, and it's just a one-person murder. So that's going to be interesting.
I'm excited for that.
Yep. Interesting.
Okay.
It's really sad, actually. It's a case that kind of stuck with me for a while. So, yeah.
Okay.
But
well,
that's it.
Yeah, I believe that's it.
We'll see you next time.
Next time.
And you can find Sarah on Instagram and TikTok.
Yes, my Instagram is Sarah_Flick. My TikTok is SarahFlick3.
Okay, bye.
Bye.